All right, Shalom. First and foremost, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Hakadash. The honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutation to the Akim and to the elect that are scattered across the four corners of this earth, pushing this truth in faith and sincerity. I'm the brother Shema Allah from the GMS Houston camp, and this lesson is going to be entitled "Learn How to Speak Up." Right, learn to speak up because you'll be in particular situations to where you might see a brother going off, all right, doing something that's that he shouldn't be doing, according to the scriptures, all right, and not moving in the spirit of the Most High, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Okay, you might be in a situation that just is not necessarily evil, that's going on, but it just might not be right for you. Scripture say, prove what is good to thy soul, what's evil to thy soul, and stay away from it. Roughly paraphrasing it. In those type of situations, you have to say something. You have to speak up. All right, we are not little boys. We're not children or anything like that. All right, the Lord is raising up men, through the Spirit, and this is no place to be fearful, to be to speak up, all right, for righteousness. Okay, because if you are afraid, then you don't truly believe in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Okay, because what is it to fear? For standing up, all right, for righteousness. Okay, so this should be normal. This is Leviticus 19 and 17. It says, "Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him." So it says that you should not suffer sin upon your neighbor. All right, what you're talking about, Israelites. All right, but more importantly, us in this truth, dealing with each other. And you see a brother doing something he should not be doing, you got to say something. All right, or you truly do not love him, or you truly do not care about him. All right, that's hate. I've seen somebody doing something wrong and not shedding light on that situation. All right, because a lot of times, bro, it's gonna happen. We're not operating in our right mind. We might have been stressed from something in the world, or our thinking ain't as clear as it usually be, as we want it to be, and you might need somebody else to tell you something. All right, and I mean, what happens, okay, or whatever the situation may be, but you have to speak up. You got to say something. It's required. It's a commandment. All right, it's not an optional thing, okay, and emotions are got to be taken out of it. Okay, so I'm gonna get Deuteronomy 1:17. It says, "Ye shall not respect persons in judgment, but ye shall hate the small as well as the great. Ye shall not be afraid of the face of man, for the judgment is the Most High's. And the cause that is too hard for you, bring it unto me, and I will hear it." It said, "Ye shall not respect persons in judgment." All right, now what does that mean? Okay, I mean, you can look down on somebody, all right, because you feel like they're insignificant, and you basically letting that affect your judgment, or somebody is of a high status, popular, liked, individual, high rank, all of that, right? And like I said, you letting that affect your judgment, right, in favor of them. All right, you might let somebody that's that you might like, all right, or that's in a higher rank or whatever. All right, you may not adhere, right, to what the scriptures say about handling a particular situation because of your favor, in a particular person. All right, or you might not give the proper judgment, all right, to someone who is not of the same caliber of rank and all of that. All right, you may treat it like it's treated lightly, all right, you still not following the scriptures as far as giving, the proper judgment, how you handle the situation. All right. So it's like you can't let that dictate what the scriptures say based off of a person's, you know, how can I say, rank, or how a person looks, or how much you like them, how much you probably don't like them. None of that matters at the end of the day. All right, but it said, "Ye shall hear the smallest words of great, and ye shall not be afraid of the face of man." So it's another thing too. You can't let that affect judgment, because this particular man, you might have a brother, he might have muscles, and the brother might be rough around the edges. The brother, you know, whatever the case may be, right? And you can't let that. You can't fear that either. All right. It says, "For the judgment is the Most High," because ultimately this is who's bringing the judgment down. The Most High is using you to communicate that. All right, and you can't be worried about what another man gonna think, or what is he gonna say, or is he gonna be mad? Who gives a fuck? All right, who gives a fuck? You shouldn't give a fuck about that. That's having your emotions too tied into it, because it's not personal. All right? And if you is making it personal, that's an issue with you. All right, and the Most High will deal with you for that. But it's not personal. All of this is business, right? And it's love too, because we're showing love, because we want brothers, to walk the right paths. All right, but you shouldn't be worried about if a brother gonna be mad, or worried about his rank, or if he ain't gonna like you no more. Don't think those thoughts. All right, do what needs to be done, and whatever that brother, however he feel, he got to deal with that, and he got to take that up with the Lord, and the Lord gonna deal with that. But that's not for you to burden yourself with thinking that. All right, let's see. This is Romans 2:11. It says, "For there is no respect of person with the Most High." So the Most High don't have no respect of persons. All right, the Most High, they judge anybody. Right, get anybody up out of here. All right, but Most High don't need none of us, no matter what our positions are. Okay, so hey, what the how should I say? It says Matthew 5:48, "Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect." So we got to strive to be that way. All right, and the perfectness comes to Yahweh Shai, but this knowledge has to be perfected. Okay, so we got to walk as close to Yahweh Shai as possible, like as it says, being to measure up to the stature of Him. James 2:9. "But if you have respect of persons, ye commit sin, and are convinced of the law as transgressors." So having respect of persons is sin. Like I said, you may like somebody, or you might, favor a particular brother. The brother may be, high rank or whatever, and you may see something, you may not say nothing. You may, I'll let him slide this time. That's the bro. Nah, fuck that. Fuck that. Cannot be that. All right, can't be so buddy to where you can't say something and stand for righteousness, right, and correct, something that shouldn't be happening. All right, this is not some type of boys club. All right, this ain't none of that. All right, like I said, this is business first. Yes, we are brothers. You know, yes, we have fun. Yes, we love brothers. Yes, we brothers are their favorites. But none of that can get in the fucking way of anything. All right. This is Sirach 42:1. "Of these things be not thou ashamed, and accept no person to sin thereby." All right. So you shouldn't let anybody else, make you go off as well. All right. Because of, who they are. All right. Like I said, if situation is wrong. You shouldn't be doing anything, knowing that it is wrong. All right. Trying to appease somebody else. It said, "Of the law of the Most High and His covenant, and of the judgment to justify the ungodly." So we have to, follow the law, statutes, and commandments. all right, to the best of our ability, but also, um, use that, right, to make sure others are on point around us as well. Okay, and not to justify the ungodly, all right, because of who they are and all of that. All right, let's look at that in the this is in the GNT version, right? Verse 1. On the other hand, it is possible to sin by giving in to other people too much. Here are some of the things you should not be ashamed of: the law of the Most High and His covenant, and it says even God, judging even godless people fairly. Okay. Then it says, let me check something. Right. So you go down to verse 8, right? It says, don't hesitate to correct someone who is acting foolishly. So it shouldn't be no hesitation there. All right. If you know that it's wrong and like you won't point, all right, with the scriptures and what the scriptures say, please say something for the sake of you and for the sake of that brother. All right. Because like I said, it could be something that could, be detrimental onto this person, onto this brother, that can make him fall off. All right. Or, that can just make the situation get progressively worse. And also by you not saying them, the most I can deal with you. And even let's say a brother found out that you knew and you didn't say anything, then now yourself is like you in a bad situation. Because even when the most I said, hey, I forgot where it's at, but it's in Deuteronomy, I believe. If you see a person sinning and you don't say nothing, shit, it's like y'all basically both in on that, right? Because you know about it, but you didn't say anything to correct the wrong. So it's like you fucking agree with it. Excuse my language too, you know. But let's see. Is this Sirach 4:22? Accept no person against thy soul, and let not the reverence of any man cause thee to fall. Right. Accept no person against thy soul. If you know something is wrong, something is affecting you, somebody like you don't let nobody bring you in a situation that you know is wrong and it ain't right. You got to speak up and say, hey, bro, look, this is that. We shouldn't be doing that. No, this is off. All right. Even accepting a person against thy soul, like I said, it could be, a brother, talking you into doing something, right? That that he may be doing in his daily life, which is not necessarily wrong, but it just kind of like rubs you the wrong way. All right, it's just not for you. Do it, because even though it's not wrong, like you doing that, you don't. It could probably, it's a reason why you staying away from it. All right, and you giving into that could possibly destroy you. All right, let's say drinking. All right, the brother could be, he could be drinking and trying to give you some drinks, and you like, nah, hey, come on, bro, don't be like that, man. Just take a few. It's like, hey, no, bro, I'm good. Like, learn how to be stern. Like, hey, nah, bro, I'm good. I'm good, bro. You ain't gotta do all that. I said I'm straight. All right, and that brother won't do that to you no more. But you just, you giving in. Oh, okay, it's gonna fucking keep happening. You gotta learn how to say things and stop it right there. Don't let things linger. All right, it says, let not the reverence of any man cause you to fall, right? Because of who a man may be. Right? It does not matter. All right. It says, and refrain not to speak when there is occasion to do good, and hide not thy wisdom and her beauty. So when it refrain not to speak, all right, don't be scared to say something that's going to be beneficial to help somebody else. All right. If you see something that is going on, all right, that is not right. Okay. But like I said, like you can't be fearing nobody. Can't be worrying about what the brother gonna think or how he gonna view me or he's still gonna talk to me or we plan to go play basketball next week. Is he still gonna play? Bro, fuck that. All right. That brother should have some sense and enough wisdom within himself to know that this is not personal. I should not let this get in the way. Okay. So no matter who it is. All right. But even the scriptures say, as far as like a brother that's a higher, like the leadership and the elders. It's a way that you do that. All right. And what First Timothy 5:1, which says to, rebuke not an elder, but entreat him as a father. So it's a way. If you see the leadership, and that's those things happen. All right. We've seen many examples of men, that were in leadership positions that abused their authority, that did things that didn't align, all right, with the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, and they been removed. All right. But that's hardly, that's rare. That's rare situations. All right, that you would see, someone in the leadership, just don't know what the hell they're doing, as far as, following the scriptures, right? They, for the most part, they on point. All right. Not saying that men are perfect. All right. But, if you see things, you want to correct it, right? You got to step and talk, in a specific way, as if you were talking to your father, right? You're not going to go to your father, just all loud, hey brother, what the fuck, what you doing? You can't. You don't do that. All right. How would you speak to your father? You do it with reverence and respect. When we respect and reverence everybody, right? But specifically, the least, it's a way to handle that. Is what I'm saying. What the scriptures say. All right. So, this was just a quick little lesson. Some of those on my mind. I hope this was edifying, to you all. All right. With that, I'm going to say shalom.